This is Chris Quinn, and this is Chris Yates, and we are doing our short form video now, and we are talking about a brand called You. This is the cool stuff because we are both into video.
Yeah, I love video.
Oh man, do I love? We both love
Yeah,
video.
absolutely.
Increases memory retention by 50% compared with print. Expedites selling decisions by 72%. And this guy has done a live Facebook stream with 800,000 viewers at one time.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to get a million. I like big goals.
Yeah.
It's all about creating interesting. It's not, a lot of times when I'll do stuff live, it's not about me. I like to focus like you're focusing on me. I love that. Thank you very much. But I do the same. I'll interview other people, and I like to find interesting people to get them to tell their stories, and get them to engage with other people, and people can learn about them. So to me, interviewing other people is very fascinating, interesting to me.
Right. Okay, showing our short form video with Chris Yates, who is social media marketer of the year and does a great job of really using video to tell a story. We want to talk about how you can actually use social media to actually cultivate business.
Oh, absolutely, you can. That's where, it's all about where is communication, where are people talking, where are people doing things. What I've learned, especially, so my background was in television from 1990 to '07. Okay. How did TVs make money? They made money by getting commercials on the air. Well, people's viewing habits have changed over the last 10 years. People don't, and this is going to sound weird, you can't sell to people. People are like, well, heck, how am I going to sell my product? You've got to create native advertising, content marketing, interesting content that a brand can be a part of. So, example is Gordo's Cheese Dip. Do we want to sell more cheese dip? Yes, I make money when they sell, right? But we aren't just talking about the cheese dip. So we incorporate, what do people use cheese dip? Well, man, tailgating sounds like the right place, right? So we tell stories about tailgaters, and of course you're going to see some of the cheese dip in there, but it really is storytelling, and brands need to be part of that storytelling. When the brands are part of that storytelling, people engage with it more and people share it. People aren't going to share a commercial. They just won't. They don't care. People don't want to be sold to. They want interesting, compelling content, and the brand needs to be part of that.
Talk about the difference, because I think a lot of people on LinkedIn are starting to use video, and we're both proponents of video, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Go video, go.
Yes.
So, but there's a difference between talking head video and using video to tell a story.
That's correct.
Because now we can take a phone and pop up and shoot video, right?
Right.
And it's a great way to tell a story. But just talk about the different ways video can be used and how live Facebook video is also being used.
Yeah. So I always go back to what I think is the most successful thing that campaigns we've ever done. You can't sell. Yeah, it sounds crazy, right? You can't sell to me. The end user's too smart. You're trying to sell to me, I'm turning you off. And you can't be boring. You got to be interesting. You got to give them content. So when brands are trying to figure out, well, how am I going to engage with the new younger millennials or even younger than that? How do I engage with them? Well, you've got to create your content that is relevant to your brand. Of course, you want it to be relevant, but more importantly, relevant to the end user, and the brand is part of the story. So you can't just force a product and sell something. You've got to, how does my product work with these great stories? And you incorporate those, and people are going to share that more often, and people will buy your product because you're giving them great content.
Cool. So if I'm going to start so everyone is starting to use video, but what's the best way to use it?
Great information, giving people what they want. People search online for things that is relevant for them. So depending on what kind of content, well, man, I can go with anything. A perfect example is Ashmore Law Firm down in Dallas. They brought me on to help them with content marketing, and we're telling stories about the best way to go through a divorce, or how do you deal with certain things in law. But they're not just saying, come hire us. They're basically giving out great content on their YouTube channel that people need, like law stuff.
Right.
So it's great information. Well, now all of a sudden they're being found. I know it's different from sports, but that's a different example. It's all about great content. Whatever you sell, okay, who is your buyer and what kind of information do they need to make a goodbye. So a game that I typically play with brands are like, well, I don't understand. I need to sell this product. Let me ask you something. If someone calls you and they want information on your product, and they're really trying to find information on your product, are you just going to say, no, come buy it? No, you're going to give them great information that's relevant or for the brand, that gives the buyer an education about information about your product or services, okay? So it's really deeper than just buy my service. Give them the information they're searching for. And then two, how that works really well. A, you're giving them something they want. They're going to respect you and they're going to trust you more. And two, the way Google works is Google doesn't care if you're information or if you're a product, but they're going to focus on information. That's what Google does. So Google wants to provide information. And if you're a brand giving out great information, then all of a sudden you move up in the rankings. And guess what happens? Now everyone knows your brand.
Great.
Yeah.
Brand called you. You've got it. All information that we know. We just have to drill it down. Part one. We're going to actually end this short form video. We'll come back with part two of our short form to kind of talk more about live, because I think everyone wants to talk about the live Facebook, don't they? And what they can do
or
with it.
live anything. I mean, live is where it's at.
Isn't it?
I mean, it's great.
Chris Quinn, Chris Yates. This is the Brand Called You, and we'll see you real soon.